What's been the most significant thing that's happened to you in the last year, would you say?
Just getting to know Jesus as my personal Savior, because He's died for me. He took everyone's sin upon Himself on the cross, and I've received that. Everyone needs to receive that.
That's amazing.
It's a joy in my heart.
That's amazing. And has it been a journey getting to accept that?
Pretty well. The joy of the Lord is in my heart, and I have peace with God.
That's it. Oh yeah. That's amazing.
Yes, it is. It's for everyone.
It's a bit boring stuck at home, not being able to do anything except watch TV and talk to dogs, so yeah.
To trust in Jesus with everything, because He is the creator of heaven and earth and everything in it.
That's amazing.
Yes.
And how has that helped you in your life? Do you think?
It's given me peace with God and with people, and I have assurance in my life.
That's amazing. Was it not always like that?
No, not always. He's completely turned my life around, because I allowed Him to work in me, to change my character.
That's amazing.
It is amazing.
How did He change your life?
I just through the Bible, His Word. Just letting His Word change me.
That's amazing. And when did this process begin for you?
About 30 plus years ago.
Really?
Yes.
And has it been difficult, Steve?
At times it's difficult. It's just letting go of the past. That's the most difficult thing. The most difficult thing is self. Letting self die. Get out of the way.
Good. And how do you do that?
Just trust in His Word that He's given me. And put His Word in my heart and my mind. Yes.
That's amazing.
And let it rule.
That's wonderful.
Yes.
And what are your hopes for the future?
We need a lot more ventilators. So the problem with the ventilators is if you cut someone open, if you operate on them, and especially the chest area, if you open the chest, then you need to ventilate them afterwards. So if you don't have the ventilator, then sometimes you can't open someone. And it gets difficult if they need to be open. Someone can die. So a lot of blood. Blood was on the floor, it was congealed on the floor. And that smell never leaves you. Still, even today, every now and again, I can smell it.
Look at creation. It's beautiful. And then you didn't make it. I did not make any of this. Yet it is there before me. Why is there?
Young men, what's the most important lesson you've learned
In my life, it's definitely too short.
We'll keep that. My wife says you're fucked, isn't that right? Yeah?
Yeah, it is. I think we should only hope for little things, not. Otherwise, the hope is so big, you can't fit it in your closet. Yeah, I think.
maybe then a computer programmer that was against war or something, violence and peace, about violence and peace, computer programming.
Having said that, the good Lord only gave us one day at a time. This animal lives for the present, so does the dog. I think it's time we started thinking about that. We plan for the future, but try and take care of that day that's here as best you can.
I don't want my grandchildren to grow up in what we have today. If they could grow up in times
I thought that against the big computer, working computer system, that I previous some time that comes to the programs like delete opens different targets. And run, delete the whole program computer.
It's just, don't really need them to grow up in that kind of situation. So.
Seeing that I'm in a chair, I had a stroke 16 years ago. But it's changed my life being in this chair. Letting God change me, my character.
Has it been difficult?
At times it's difficult. Just letting go. And letting God have his way. Self is always hard thing to put down. That's the hardest word we'll get is with self.
It's not loneliness, but in a lot of ways we're all alone really on a journey. In our sadness, in our grief, and even in joy. We can't reach and touch each other's feelings, can we? So although we can be intimate, we can't be truly as one.
There were about 16 people that died in that accident. And I had to go into these cars and there was one particular lady, she was pregnant, unfortunately. Her stomach opened with the impact of the crash. She was dead and the baby was dead, but there was a lot of blood in the car. And then that gave me a lot of flashbacks to certain community, the smell of the blood. So you don't forget these things. Well, bent into your memory.
And then that's how I will live, because I want to just live doing what I love, not doing like factory work or something like that. Yeah, I don't want to do that. I want to just, in my future, I want to be doing what I want to do and be happy. Yeah, have a whole brand sort of thing.
The way I see it, who want to have people thought to upload and not the cleaner. One of them was first, the cleaner would not be here, and just everyone, he's so quick.
I went to a group and they said to me, what is your greatest talent? And I said to them, I am a great slave. I am a slave to myself, a slave to my addictions, a slave to my passions. And they said, is there another word? And I said, well, I am mastered.
And we were shot at, bullets to the cars. She almost died with a bit through the car. Really. So we had a lot of violence towards us. And then one of our good friends there, Spence, the surgeon, they executed him. Just outside the hospital, they shot him.
The
I believe that is a sort of extent that people go to these days. Fight with it in the name of peace.
He would always be there, always the same. Yeah. And I miss him still.
Yes, because my son hung himself.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear.
No, it's okay for me to say this now because there are no tears. So there's a lot of healing that a brief process has worked itself out quite well. And I'm quite healthy today. Where last year or the year before, last year I was quite in a dark place. The flower of your opposition is not. It's not. On the other hand,
he's turning 12. I was saying that that's when I can remember being, that's when I can remember being a child, was when I turned 13, and then I met his mum when I was 15, and then she was pregnant when I was 16, and then I had him when I was 17, and Michael was 12 now. I was explaining to him that that's 5 years from how he is now, and hearing him just like, that is ridiculous and that shouldn't be. It is a crazy thing. I didn't ask to be a father, but it happened, and I realized the importance of raising the thing that you've put in here, and
But I've started to think differently than significant, and I realised I have my own way of judging how well I'm doing based on the ends and what to do and everything else. So I'm a lot more accepting of myself, kinder to myself these days.
Yeah. Just be positive. Like, as I've always been a happy person, like I've always been chirpy and that, but there are those days where I'm not that I wouldn't be, but I wouldn't like to show anyone that, but it would only be for a little period of time on my own by myself, that I would sort of talk to myself about how I feel and stuff like that. Then at the end of the day I'm still like a happy person, and I want people around me to be happy too.
Love yourself. Take care of yourself. Don't hate yourself. But another lesson beyond that is Jesus is God. So I must understand Jesus is God.
How can you overcome yourself to let God have his way in you? Thank you very much, Gil.
They always say, when someone hits rock bottom, that's when they turn things around. But I don't know what his rock bottom is, he just keeps getting worse. So, it's really hard just to have to sit by and wait.
Power of the mind, as far as when you want something, you have to choose to want it. So like being happy, although it's often a mindset, and sometimes if you have certain sicknesses you can't help if you're feeling depressed. But at the same time, you also have to choose to be happy, and it's not about pretending, like the whole fake it till you make it thing. It's actually like consciously deciding to work towards it and not using everything as an excuse. So if you actually try, I've learned, if you actually try, you're a lot more capable than you think.
So we had a lot of violence around us and to us. In the hospital, some of the patients that we managed to save, they still came in and that sometimes killed the patients in the hospital.
And I would say to him, come to me, boy. But he would say no.
And she was a happy person too, like everyone knows her as like her big smile and her just being happy, and cheering everyone up, and yeah, she's really caring, she's really caring and everything. Yeah, me and my mum were real close.
You know when you watch some American shows and they're really cheesy and sentimental? I have to tell you that there are some Americans who are all of those things. I don't want a cripple for a wife. What can I do about that, John?
Scene for me, as you say, working in South Africa. There are plenty of those, but once I took a funeral for a young baby that died of HIV/AIDS up in the hills, the mountain. They couldn't afford anything. And sitting on the mountain, having to help bury this baby who died of HIV/AIDS, looking at the poverty there and looking down on the lights of the town, I could just understand something if I lived in poverty there at the side of that hill, looking down on the opulence of this town below, that I could just suddenly understand perhaps some people's attitude towards those living in town and not out there in the informal settlement against the hill.
Sure.
So that just hit me. The ticket of the concert we went to that evening in the town was more than the fridge costs to keep his baby in the fridge so that his family can come and attend the funeral 2 days later. He couldn't afford that and asked me to do the funeral earlier.
I guess a good future for me would be to have some clean air for us to breathe and be able to afford our rent, and for weed to be legal. Because that's so much problems caused, especially in this country, for New Zealand to be called Aotearoa, for everyone to start calling our street names how they were, for people to start pronouncing all the Māori kids' names properly, to start just accepting that the Pakeha past in New Zealand isn't as great as what it was, to get rid of the word Kiwi. Like, what the fuck is a Kiwi? Like, who is a Kiwi? That's just a word for someone that doesn't want to accept the past. The future should be Te Ao Māori. Māori should be running this country, and I think that the rest of Aotearoa should be proud to have an Indigenous race leading their country, because of it as the youngest colonized civilization, so it does make sense for us to lead the way in that sense. So a good future for me is to clean air for my son, clean rivers for him to do monies in, fucking Māori-led Aotearoa, everybody to respect it, and fucking...
There's an exceptional beauty to all of this. So one of the things that I clearly remember is the Zulu staff. Every morning at sunrise, we'd work often through the night. And at sunrise they had these big banana leaves. And the patients that we didn't manage to save that died through the night, they'd capture their souls and their spirits and place them in the banana leaves and then wrap them up and then put them on the shelves with their patient labels on them. And then when the family came in to hear what happened to their family, the Zulu could give them their spirits and their souls wrapped up in the banana leaves so that they could go and bury them appropriately. And it was a really beautiful thing. So every sunrise, we'd all go outside at sunrise, and this is over Zululand, so the sky would be pink, and then the Zulu staff would sing these beautiful female and male voices that sing to the forefathers to help guide these spirits into the banana leaves, and it was exceptionally beautiful. So that was a beautiful thing, and then just working together under very, very difficult circumstances. You really build bonds with other people, because we were all under pressure, we were all under threat, and you get very close to people. So just magnificent. And I think that's probably one of the things that I learned, that there's challenges, but it's in those challenges there's a beauty in
and have not rested in peace at all.
Really life without challenges is not
together now. That's when you ask me what has happened in the last year and coming to terms with things. I don't think it's all just me. I think it's them as well. I mean, there's a whole family, if you believe in the afterlife or guides and things like that. One God, many gods. I know when they're around. Yeah, and it's a calmness and it's a presence. Yeah, I do believe. Yeah.
Abusers, especially when it's childhood sexual abuse and stuff like that, they use that aspect of trust, and they really mess with your head, and I don't really know how to explain it, but it's like there's always this film over everything that, everything's okay, and just even for the victims, it's like, look the other way. So it sort of made me take a direct look at aspects of life that I hadn't directly looked into. Both my own life and other people's lives. I've done lots of psychological research on it. And now I think I want to sort of move on from there and give people visual pleasure rather than shock.
I'm a good slave because I will follow blindly. I wouldn't say blindly. I don't think I would say blindly, brother. But I will follow it to the, no matter what it is here, whatever's done.
Where I was called in by the staff as the hospital chaplain, I suppose, to convey or support a family after one of their loved ones, their 21-year-old son, was killed in gang violence. The family asked me to just please quickly do a prayer because they want to go out and take revenge and kill the person who hurt their loved one. So you had situations like that.
Well, my advice is to search and to keep on searching. What you are today is no more than you can be. You can be more. So my advice to people is to don't settle for who you are today and what you are today, but you can be more for another person and more for someone else, because everyone's searching, everyone's looking for that something. They look for it in drugs and alcohol, like I do. They look for it in gods, in church and religion. Just keep on developing, keep on searching for something that's better than who you are.
Ros, dankie vir die
impact I've had when I was on the phone to my sister just a few months ago, and she goes, we buried their ashes. And the fact that their ashes are not spread and buried, all of it was just almost beautiful and crazy and horrible at the same time. But knowing that I'd been there, blind, just with this massive urge, I actually phoned Jerry's dad at Bombay and said, am I going left or right? Am I coming to see you, or am I going to Coromandel because I need to go somewhere? And I'm not, I mean, if they were...
Life is a lot more complex than you guys.
And that's what I'm doing. I didn't know.
Million times that. Why is that? Okay. In the old days on the farm, if you want to do some work, it required implements. First you've got to go and catch your horse. And sometimes the horse will say, boy, you too, I'll just go a couple of laps around the paddock. I'm not ready to go and do work yet. The tractor comes along, you turn the key on, start, away you go. Now you've got computers, tractors are computerised. It's just faster now, everything's just faster. And when the computer breaks down,
yeah, and when I go back home, and I know these ladies that I've seen, like that are my mum's friends. Like, I recognise them, but I don't know their names. But they'll always, and I'll say hello to them, and they'll say, "You look familiar. You look familiar." And I go, "Oh, I'm Jimmy's daughter." And then they'll say, "Oh, that's her." And I go, "You've got a smile. You look like your mum." And I'm like, "Yeah, hard out." I do, because she's like got high cheekbones too, yeah, and a round face. Yeah.
If your partner got pregnant or something, I think real fucking downly of someone that just leaves their kids and just, especially a male, they just can decide to just fucking make a baby and then not have anything to do with it. Like, fatherhood to me is stepping up and actually doing it. Like, I know a lot of fathers and they say they're in the same situation as me, but they haven't even raised their child. And it's fucking bullshit.
Just with this massive urge, I actually phoned Jerry's dad at Bombay and said, am I going left or right? Am I coming to see you, or am I going to Coromandel because I need to go somewhere? And I'm not, I mean, if they were around me when I was saying that, I went left, and that's where they were buried. And I didn't know. Yeah. I know. So I do believe love. And trust. Yeah.
There's ways to, kind of have to say no. And just learning how to do that has been a big deal. Yeah.
Which is very sad. That happened. So yeah, it's sort of violence, sort of blood, but in
well, they said that they didn't like what I was saying because I wasn't pretty. No beautiful words. And even though I am a slave, I'm a good slave. But if you transfer that to God, it means obedience. And that's all I was trying to say. I am an obedient man. If you give me something that I must follow, I will follow it to the letter. Just like Jesus followed it. And though he bled tears of blood, he still went through to the end because he saw me. He saw you.
Being raised from a father that all he did was work and drive around the country in his trucks and never see us, and then install into us what a fucking Kiwi bloke is, and then that's that whole thing of Kiwi again. Like, when we think of a Kiwi and a Kiwi bloke, it's a tough, staunch man and shit, and then for my son, that's not what I wanted to be. So fatherhood is
because my partner
yourself.
hurt me and hurt him. So it was a situation where my partner would have hit my car and I would hit me.
Things like that. But there's moments in your life
and she would be drunk and then start abusing me. So I had that sort of thing too.
But it's something that you didn't get through your daughter, you didn't get through your uncle, you didn't meet through your cousin, they're actually just yours. And I don't think enough people, no matter what age they are, actually look at what they did on their own. And I'm not just talking about achievement. I'm talking about, well, I knew that person just because I knew them. I didn't meet them through there, I didn't meet them through there, I didn't do this through that. They were your own footsteps.
My life's actually all good compared to some others. I might be struggling in my own way, but still I can't do that to myself and make myself feel low and stuff like that. And knowing that I haven't, because I teach it to my daughter, like I preach to her how she can't do that to herself, but then I was sort of doing it to myself, so that's because I've got to change like my mind, the way that I think and everything, so that's what I've done.
That I can be more than I have been for other people. I hope that I can be more than I have been for my family. I hope that I can be more. I just want to be more. I've always been closed in a box. So hopefully in my freedom I can be free to free others and be more for another man, no matter who he is.
But without having God and Jesus on your side, I'm not too sure where you go. I really do not know, because life is not a smooth, gentle ocean. It's a rough storm, upbeat, and it can be a deep valley. Like in my life, I've had plenty of those.
Shit stuff that have happened to me in my life, and things, situations that I put myself into, and where they turned out being fucking horrible, but then the lessons I've learned from that have been valuable. So it's like, I guess the greatest lessons I've learned is from the shittest times that I've had, and there's plenty of shit times to come.
Every single day of my school, apart from the last years of college, it's about conservation.
And I would say to him, come to me, boy. But he would say no.
And to live a day, I don't have any long-term plans. I'd love to have a trip with my girl.
One day, early in our relationship, he'd stayed the night, and I didn't really want him to go, but I kind of hinted at him and didn't say don't go. And so he said, as he was going to leave that morning, he said, it seems to me that you'd like me to stay. He said, but you haven't been direct in it. He says, I would like you to be direct, but in saying that, I want you to know something. You can have anything you want. You only have to ask me.
Journey like that's always difficult. It confronts you with your own mortality. It confronts you with the meaning of life. But the flip side to it being difficult and to it being hard seeing people struggle and suffer, it also makes you appreciate life more and appreciate the fact that you have people around you, that your health is still good, life is good. So it's getting close to the negative makes you appreciate the positive even.
But I don't blame my partner for something that she was going through, because when I first went with her, my son covered me while I would go with my wife. Because it was a 20-year relationship, it was very hard to let that go. So when I would go back to my partner, my son would cover me. And my current partner now would know that. So she started to develop hatred for my son during his time. But when my son needed me, the hatred continued.
The whole town sort of got shut down after this big business left. It's in America, so it's got all that nice political stuff that I really enjoy. But mostly it was about she couldn't live in a house again, and a house is a representation of a relationship. So she just travelled, she just went on the road, and it was all about her being on the road and being alone. And so I came home from that movie very affected by it, and I thought, maybe there's her journey is my journey too around grief, because I'm kind of turning my photography-wise, been turning my little house into a shrine, and Richard is still sitting in the bookcase, not, in his bodily form, all nicely burnt to a crisp, and I've never been able to, I guess, to do something for him, put him somewhere. So it was a real realisation for me. So most of my photography that I'm doing with Kyle is about aloneness.
So do not dismiss anybody. Listen to them first before you decide whether they say it's not relevant or can't help you or isn't significant. Every person has got something to say and has got wisdom to share.
It's not a religion, my brother. Religion means that you must do because you must do. But I want to do because of what you've done to me. And that's why I will do. Because of what you've done for me. And I love you.
So felt in a very, very, very long time, and having to rebuild myself from that, and everything that I believe in and who I am as a person has been a really big journey for me. I think that's the most fun.
Probably to keep going. I don't know, things get hard and you sometimes second guess yourself. But if you know what you're doing is right or for a good cause or what you want to do or is aligned with your belief systems, then do it. And don't listen to other people. Just do it. Do it for yourself because your life is all about you.
Yeah, it's fucked up, and he's going to be bigger than me soon. And he's probably going to give me a hiding.
He's shade today.
Yeah, he's shading everyone. Like, all yesterday I was trying to talk to him, I didn't even want to fucking buy it, wouldn't even talk to me. And then I leave the room for 10 seconds and I hear him laughing with Jared. I'm like, man, you're laughing. And then I walk in, bro, just walk straight in. I guess fatherhood is fucking hard. That's what it is, It's going to be different for every single person that experiences it. Everyone's going to treat different because the kid is going to be different in every situation. And with me, I guess fatherhood was just stepping up and raising him because there was no other around. So I just had to do that. So fatherhood was stepping up and doing it because at that same time I knew other people that were that had got their partners pregnant, blah blah, and then just didn't stick around, and that's it's just unfortunate for them and the child, obviously.
Life is a lot more complex for you guys. You think so? Oh, a million times so. Why is that? Okay, the old days on the farm, if you can do some work, it required influence. First you've got to go and catch your horse. And sometimes the horse will say, boy, you too, I'll just go a couple of laps around the paddock. I'm not ready to go and do work yet. Tractor comes along, you turn the key on, start away you go. Now you've got computers. Tractors are computerized.
It's just faster now, everything's just faster.
And when the computer breaks down,
I would like to find someone else to share my life with, but it's not a prerequisite. And you can't replace people, right? So I guess my hope is that I can find a way to continue to wake up every morning, and even if I am feeling a little sad or a little, not as connected as I could be, I find that I get up and I go to Remakers, or I come here and have a great day, and that is enough to sustain me. And if someone else comes into my life, well, they do, and if they don't, well, they don't, and that's,